And all it does is start with a little bit of white boxed cake mix. Now what's in here are all the dry ingredients that you need, like the flour, the sugar, and the leavening. And then I'm going to add even more great flavor to this. First thing I want to add is just a softened stick of butter. You can never go wrong adding butter to anything. Then, to give it a nice, moist, incredible flavor that's a little bit tangy, 1.25 cups of buttermilk. This is rich and delicious and nice and thick. Then just 1/2 cup of egg whites. And these are already pasteurized. And then to this, I want to add just some flavoring. I'm going to add a tablespoon of vanilla and 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract. And I just need to mix this for a minute or two so everything's combined. Just a couple more things to this that you may not have thought of, but this is what they put in all those delicious Italian wedding cakes. First thing, just a can of crushed pineapple with the juices go in here. Then I want to add about 1/2 cup of coconut. This is sweetened coconut. And an entire cup of chopped pecans. I'm going to save the rest of these for my icing. I'm also going to need the vanilla for the icing. Fold this all in together. Not only is this moist and delicious, but when it bakes up in your baking pans, it's really nice and tall. It makes beautiful cake. I always like to use non-stick cooking spray, and this is butter flavored, which adds just a nice flavor to the cake. And these are 8-inch rounds. Now, half of this goes into one and half in the other. Try to get these as even as possible so they bake up evenly. My grandma Lorraine used to make this cake when I was a little girl, and I still love it to this day. These are going to go into the oven. I've preheated that on 350 degrees, and they bake in about 35 minutes. But make sure you check the center with a butter knife. If it comes out clean, then it's done, and if not, it goes back in for a couple minutes. But let's talk about the best icing ever. Here's how you doll up store-bought icing. Now, this is cream cheese icing, and it's my favorite, I must admit. Now, I'm going to need 3 cans of that. It's always better to have more icing than not. I think that's plenty of frosting. Now to this, I'm going to doll it up with a little bit of vanilla, just about 1 teaspoon or so, and some chopped pecans. The rest of this bag goes right in here. Just about 1 cup, and combine it together. I really like using vanilla or some kind of extract when I'm using my store-bought canned icings because it makes it taste like it's from scratch. You don't get that store-bought taste, and it adds extra flavor to whatever you're putting it on. Great, creamy, and a little bit of pecans for surprise. Now let's talk about this cake. I've already baked 2 of them. They're in the refrigerator, and I'll tell you why. If you bake your cakes, bring them to room temperature, and then pop them in the refrigerator and make them nice and cold, they are so much easier to frost because they don't crumble so much, and you don't get cake all throughout your icing. That's a great trick. Okay, you can see how nice and fluffy these bake up. They're very tall cakes. Now check it for height and make sure this is even. If not, just take a serrated edge and come in here and make it as even as possible. Once it's nice and even, you're going to start to frost it. Here is a great trick for frosting, so you don't get your frosting all over your serving platter. Just take parchment and lay it on the corners of the plate, and then carefully place in the center your cake. Now I'm going to turn this upside down so that I have a nice surface to frost, and then right in the center, boom, it goes. Then you can adjust it, and your parchment won't run away from you. Nice dollop of the frosting. And just work this around. This is going to taste like it's from scratch and look like it's bakery bought. Now for the top layer. Let's turn this over and pop this right on the top, just like that. Great. Now some icing on the top of this. Be generous with that. The pecans, you can see, add flavor, and also look at how beautiful they look in the icing. And because I put that parchment down there, I can go all the way to the bottom and not make a mess of my serving plate. Now with your frosting spatula, just take the bottom of the cake and hold it, and this will help you get that parchment paper out from underneath that oh so moist cake. And that's it. Perfection. An Italian wedding cake in what? 40 minutes? 50 minutes?